famous Galahad, where dreams come true.
I'm sure. I'm not sure who for, but we won't go into that right now. How have you been kind of maintaining your training while all this craziness has been going on in the outside world?
Do you know what, Danny? I live across the road from the gym.
That
There's no
helps.
one in the gym, and I've been training to me, it really hasn't been much difference because I've been training in the morning, training at night. You know, obviously you can't do no sparring and certain things like that, but everything else you can still do. You can still go in there, share the box. You can still do your footwork, runs, bikes. You know, strength training. You can do everything in there.
How relieved are you now with all this going on? We don't know how long it's going to last. That you managed to get a fight in at the start of the year.
I know. I was thinking that. You know, before I was just thinking that's crazy. And like, I think when was the last show? Was the last show?
I think it was like the end of February or beginning of March they started being cancelled.
I know, mad innit? It's mad. I'm just lucky, and I'm just lucky I just boxed before it all. You know, I got my mandatory shot, and now it's just I'm just waiting for my time.
How do you assess the Claudio Moreira fight? A lot of people calling it your best ever performance.
It was a good performance, Danny. But you know, I think I've got way more gears than that. You know, the higher I step up, you know, the better performances you'll see.
Obviously, you had that fight with Josh Warrington, your first world title shot. So far, your only defeat, a contentious defeat. I think it's fair to say. Do you look back on it now and think there's things you could have done differently or more to make it clear to everyone that you won?
Yeah, 100. Listen, Danny. I honestly believe I've won that fight 100%, and I honestly believe he knows I won that fight because you know just when I'm talking to him, when I seen him at the fight in Manchester, just the way he was and everything, you know, as a fighter, you know when someone's been beaten, you know when someone's beat you, and I know for 1,000,000% he knows that I beat him that night, and he's gonna try. He's gonna try and get out of it. And he's gonna try and make some form of excuse because look, at the end of the day, if he wanted them big fights, he could have went to Top Rank, and he could have got the Shakur Stevenson fight and the Oscar Valdez fight and the whoever else he's got. He's got the WBC champion. He's got the other WBO champion. So I don't really think he wants the fight. I think he's just saying he wants the fight. He wants everything on his terms, and he's not in that. He's not in the AJ category where you can, all the Mayweather categories where, you're a shot caller and you can say, you've got Mayweather. You remember Mayweather fought his way up there. Mayweather got into that position, after beating, how many fighters, in his career. Josh Warrington's best win is Lee Selby, and he was dead at the weight. Other than that, who else? Carl Frampton. Carl Frampton's half dead. He's about 45. So, other than that, who's his best win? But, for some reason he thinks, he's in that category with them kind of guys, and he's not. He's not generating that kind of money what they generate.
All that aside, though, and you're your own harshest critic, when you look back on the fight, do you think you could have done anything differently to win by a mile, basically? So there was no.
The only way I had won that night is if I had knocked him out.
It was announced during the lockdown that Warrington's next fight is going to be against Can Zhu, which they're hoping is going to be a unification if Zhu gets elevated to WBA super champion. Is that frustrating for you that it might mean a bit of a wait?
No, not really, because they're saying it's done doesn't mean it's done, does it? I could tell you that I'm fighting, Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali next, but obviously, I'm just telling you I'm fighting him. Doesn't mean the fight's actually through, is it? We'll have to see what happens. The WBA have to make him a super champion. And the thing is that really an exciting fight? How can you go from saying you want to fight Oscar Valdez, Shakur Stevenson, all these big names to fighting a guy nobody knows who he is, who's not even a champion? He's a regular champion. He's not even a world champ. So you can't go from one. So after my fight, he went and boxed. I don't even know who he went and boxed. I don't even know who the kid was. Nobody knows who he was. You can't say, oh yeah, you want to fight these kids, these big names, and then go and fight people like the kid he boxed in his last fight, and then now he wants to go and fight a guy who's not even a world champion, they're going to make him a world champion to make him into, you know what I mean? It don't make sense, you know. I think he's just a good talker.
There's a positive side, though, that if that fight does come off and Josh gets through it, you could then have the rematch for 2 belts rather than 1.
No, he won't. He's not going to fight me. He'll vacate. He'll vacate and you know, say, oh, you want a bigger fight, you know. But the he'll try it, you know. I think hopefully, you know, the WBA don't make him into a champ, and you know, he's got to fight me for the IBF, and you know, and this time it's going to completely be a different fight. You know, I'm going to absolutely splatter him.
If he does vacate, as you predicted just now, who's next in the IBF rankings? Who would you have to fight?
I don't really know, you know. I haven't really seen, but I'm not really concentrating on that. All I'm concentrating is, you know, beating Josh Warrington because he's the champ.
How personal is it between you and Josh now?
To be honest with you, to me, it's not really personal. To him, it might be personal because, you know, people are left, right, slagging him off, saying he got beat by someone, you know, beat by me, and you know, he probably, when he's walking around Leeds, you know, people are saying, yeah, but you need to go and be that kid, you know, the last time. And you know, for him, I just think I'm in his head. I really do. I really do. Look, Danny, when you know someone, when you know as a fighter you've been beat, you just know. You know, and I know for a fact he knows, and his dad knows, and he's gonna try and make excuses and say, "Oh yeah, you know, he wants to go this direction and do this and do that." But listen, hopefully, you know, the IBF will stick to the rules and regulations. Obviously, if WBA make him a super champ, then they make that kid a super champ. It might come off, it might not, you know, but hopefully it doesn't come off, and he's got to fight me.
Do you think you're the best fighter in Britain who's yet to win a world title?
Yes, 100%. Me and Dillian White. You know, I believe, you know, this year I will 100% win a world title, and you know, I believe Dillian White will probably win a world title. Hopefully, you know, when he gets a shot, you know, it might be next year. Next year.
What are your remaining goals in the sport? Obviously, the world title is the most important thing, but after that, is it unifying? Is it moving through the weights? What's your kind of dreams?
Do you know what? For me, I'm just looking one step at a time, Danny. I don't really look that far ahead. Let me just get this world title, win it, and then we'll see where the opportunities is. Because look, at the end of the day, Danny, like Joe Kawasaki, he had to have 20 defenses or 10 defenses or whatever it was before he got a unification fight. And that's just how it is. Everyone's career is different. You know, you might get someone, they have one fight and then they have a unification fight. You know, but I don't ever look at myself and think other people's career. I'm just thinking one step at a time. Let me just get this and then we'll see what the options is from there. You know, you don't know. You know, I could end up getting, you know, the Gary Russell Jr. fight. I might get another champ. You just don't really know.
Just before I let you go, how much are you missing the lads from the gym and Dom, and who are you missing the most?
I'm missing all of them. I'm missing all the boys because, you know, it's when you're training by yourself, it's boring. It's so fucking boring. And you know, just going in there. Yeah, obviously you got to go in and do what you got to do, but when you're by yourself, I don't know how fighters just train by themselves. You know, you need to have other people around you and other fighters just to. Yeah, it's just a good competition. You know, everyone's trying to be the top dog, and when you're by yourself, I think you kind of get a bit stale. When you're around with these other guys, everyone. When I'm in the gym with all these other kids, like the Willie Hutchinsons, the Leans, the Telfoots, the Billy Joels, you know, the Robbie Davises, the Barbles, all these kids, everyone's trying to kill each other. You know, and we've even got people like Mia Khan, you know, the fighter. He'll come and spar with us, and when you spar with him, it's like he's trying to kill you.
So, that's his nickname, isn't it?
Huh?
That's his nickname, isn't it? Killer.
Yeah, particularly, you know, and you just miss all that buzz, don't you?
Well, hopefully we'll all be getting back to normal as soon as we can.
Oh, today's the day what's supposed to be the peak day, isn't it?
Peak, yeah.
Today? Is that why you waited for me to interview me today?
Yeah, we wanted to wait till the peak. We wanted to see some light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, hopefully, you know, everything goes back to normal soon. Let's see what happens with the death toll. Hopefully, you know, everything keeps going down, and you know, they get this lockdown off for the next couple of weeks. But I don't know. It could end up being another month and a half. I think that's what China, 2.5 months.
Yeah.
So we don't really know, do we? But listen, one thing we do know is my next fight's going to be for a world title, and that's what I'm focused on.
Brilliant. I really appreciate your time. At the
I
Galahad.
appreciate you giving me a call, Danny.
I know, anytime. And we'll speak again soon, hopefully in person.
Definitely, definitely, man. Take care and stay safe.